Hi, I'm William Tenholder, and I've won thousands of games around the world in competition and online. And this is a really exciting game. It shows you how you can have the bravery to do the sacrifice to get the checkmate. So we're going to go along pretty quickly here because we know this is the Reti opening and they are simply doing the D6, which I highly recommend. That's a great way to open. So we continue on standard Reti opening, E4, and they come out right away with the knight. I like to do this check on the king to move around that pawn, and that changes their strategy sometimes. But the trick is you go in for that, you're prepared to go in for the attack on the F7 pawn. So here's the whole trick right here, and this is the beauty. There you go. You take out that pawn, the king pretty much has to take. King could go out the side to d7. That would be fine. However, in this case, they accept the sacrifice. And so king takes, and now the knight is ready to attack. And here we're looking like there's a possible checkmate here somewhere, right? You just feel it. You just feel like there's a checkmate coming. So watch how it develops. It does end up in checkmate, in a checkmate position. So now we can see the defense. They bring in two knights. It's very good defense on their part. But the king is wide open. So check out. I mean, wow, they defended incredibly well. As good as a master, grandmaster, they defended. So now here we end up with a check situation. So this is where we start to take control. White starts to take control of the situation. So the king has moved back. And so now this is where it really starts to happen. They start to counterattack with the pawn, hoping to distract me, but now the bishop's attacking the queen. The white bishop's attacking the black queen. So the queen, it's very exciting. The queen says, well, okay, check on the king. King moves to a safe spot. Not much they can do there. They do move the pawn up with threats. So it's a serious threat here with the queen, the bishop, and the pawn. So this is how we get the checkmate. Check on the king. And we will have a chance for either a draw or a checkmate. All depends how you're feeling. So now it's precarious for them. It's a very dangerous situation for black. They take with the pawn, and then queen takes check. So now in this position, we should be able to find a checkmate or a draw. And so what we do is check. The king has nowhere to go, but they do have the bishop. So once the bishop comes into play, then you do have a draw situation where you can go check on the white squares, and you just check, 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 and if the king comes out, then you checkmate. In this case, I wanted to make sure the defense, you always have to look at offense and defense. Wanted to make sure our defense was solid. Pawn takes, rook takes, and so we're in a solid position. And so now they don't have an attack on my position. It's time for me to start the attack on their position. So I was looking at, some distraction on that side and then go in. So they moved the bishop. Now here's where I have the chance for the perpetual or checkmate. And if they don't want to do the perpetual, queen would go white squares. Check, 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 check. And so in this case, king, queen just moves over, check. King has to go back, check. And we end up with, so there's the check. And so there's the perpetual at that point. Check, 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 check. And then you can go in for the checkmate. And so king goes back. So there's your, perpetual. And if you want a checkmate, it's very simple to get that done as well. So this is pretty much the end of the game. And check, check. So we have a draw or we have a checkmate, depending on what the king does. If the king moves out of this perpetual, then there will be checkmate in a couple of moves. So that's how you can actually get a draw or a mate out of the bishop sacrifice. I'm William Tenholder. I really enjoyed this game, and I hope you enjoy your chess. I love chess.